The history of Estolia is filled with unlikely connections, improbable matches, and extraordinary circumstances that bring together the couples who then find great happiness. I do not believe that I ever once understood what much of the capitulos were trying to convey until I, too, was faced with my Cailey. The greatest comfort is knowing that every soul knows its soulmate. Kenzie was a visual maelstrom of color and character. I think that just as I was given to know that she was right for me, so too, all Estolians are given the same sureness within when they meet their soulmates. Nicodemus Luciano Zakarian, Capitulo 89.
One moment the airplane was gliding smoothly. The next it pitched violently downward, sending a raw jolt of terror through Kat's stomach before Walter's delighted laugh cut through the cabin.
You can't ignore the instruments,
he said, grinning.
Because a fender bender in an airplane is a closed casket in waiting.
Walter kept jerking her focus back to the controls, first with sharp turns, then steep climbs, and now a sudden drop in altitude. The airplane, a King Air, was originally configured for parachuting before Walter had it converted into the setting for a high-stakes action scene in one of his films, Disaster. She regretted ever agreeing to come to Mallorca with Mandy and Walter.
It's not like you're beautiful.
Walter cut into her thoughts.
The only way to sell you and your need is to focus on the money.
She began, but he cut her off.
You can't do it anyway, Kat, not without making it sour.
She frowned at him.
Making what?
The piano. You know, nobody can tune a piano like a Yorkshire Terrier.
He sighed, sounding mournful.
Take the yoke,
he said, releasing the controls. As she fumbled to grab the yoke, panicking, he started to chuckle.
Don't worry, kitten,
he said.
I promise you'll get one, and it will taste great.
Get what?
She asked, confused.
An umbrella. Haven't you been paying attention?
He hissed the last word. She looked over at him, wondering what he was talking about. His expression was deadpan, lower lip thrust forward, the look he wore when he couldn't be bothered to feign interest. He was giving her that look now, as if she was of no account and he did not mind if she knew. She grew uneasy when he did not look away.
Of course I've been paying attention,
she said.
But...
She faltered, not because he interrupted her, but because his expression itself was beginning to unnerve her. She reached out one trembling hand and pressed it against his neck. There was no life, no pulse. He wasn't breathing. She recoiled at the thought of touching him, yet she reached up and closed his eyes. She could not think with those empty orbs fixed upon her. Her light-hearted jaunt was now a disaster in the making. She sifted through the last 2 hours of Walter's haphazard lessons, but nothing he'd shown her touched on landing, only flight. She was alone in an airplane over the Mediterranean, with no idea how to get back to Earth. She looked again at Walter. His lower lip still glistened with saliva. In that moment, she hated him. Hated everything he told her over the last 10 or 15 minutes of his life. Hated him for his contempt. Get a grip, she admonished herself. Focus. She drew in a deep breath, then with careful precision, she lifted the headset from Walter's head and fitted it over her own. Only after that did she turn her eyes to the gauges. The airplane, at least, seemed to have plenty of fuel. What she needed to know was simple: where the airplane was headed, whose airspace she was in, and if she risked straying into air lanes already occupied by traffic or countries that might treat a lone foreign woman with suspicion, if she could even manage a landing at all. She thought they were approaching the small island that Walter called Pequeño, but she wasn't sure. She remembered how cautious he was to avoid it on the first leg of their flight. To the south lay Algeria, a complete mystery to her. She only knew that it was in North Africa, not exactly friendly territory for an unaccompanied girl from Kentucky. She considered turning the airplane back to Ibiza, but decided against it. It was a small island, relatively speaking, and if she missed it, she would be headed for either Morocco or the mainland. It was best, she thought, to try to make her way back to Mallorca. With a snort of humor, she pulled out her smartphone. The idea that this little piece of glass and circuits could somehow help her land an airplane struck her as absurd enough to make her grin. There were places where the internet worked, even when the phone itself could not. The problem was that her phone showed no service at all. The fleeting hope ebbed away, and she found herself weighing the same choices again: turn back toward Ibiza or swing north for Spain. Some of the issues over the last several decades came to mind, particularly the use of airplanes as terrorist weapons. If she blundered into a country with a powerful military presence, she feared they might shoot her out of the sky. Mallorca seemed to make the most sense. She glanced at the clock on her phone and set a timer. 2 hours. If she had not found the island by then, she would turn north. The European mainland was impossible to miss, though she doubted she had enough fuel to reach as far as Italy. 10 minutes later, she saw a large island ahead of her. It was far too soon for it to be Mallorca, and the shape was wrong. No sweep of coastline, no sprawl of Palma on the western shore. She told herself it must be Pequeño, though it seemed larger than she remembered Walter describing. If they had cell towers there, she might at least get a signal. With what little she'd learned, she could try to hold the airplane in a slow circle and use her phone to summon help.
Wings